Hello and welcome. My name is Daffy Roth, and this Evil 5 for the PC, and we are going to be continuing with our our playthrough of Chapter 2, Part 3. But before we do that, um, I did find when I was going through the let's get this.
Resident Evil 5.
When I was going through the library here, I found the files. I thought these files were part of the game itself, like the ones you find in the game, but actually it's not. There's a lot of reading here, so I'm just going to go through it. But I'm curious as to what they actually have in here. So let's do the history of Resident Evil up until now. I don't think it includes Revelations, but we'll see. 1960s engineer Michael Warren begins the electrification of Raccoon City. The fifth head of the Ashford family, Edward Ashford, begins his research into what would later become known as the progenitor virus. In 62, Oswald E. Spencer enlists architect George Trevor to design and construct a reclusive mansion on the outskirts of Raccoon City. And we did learn in Revelations he also made those ships. 66, December, Oswald E. Spencer, James Marcus, and Edward Ashford officially established progenitor virus, which reconstitutes a living organism's DNA. 1967 November, the construction of the mansion and lab facilities in the Arklay Mountains is completed. Jessica and Lisa Trevor are injected with the variant of the progenitor virus. The virus fails to establish itself in Jessica, and she is subsequently disposed of. The virus shows promise in Lisa, and as a result, she is placed under close observation. George Trevor is chosen to be a test subject, however, due to his intimate knowledge of the mansion facility, he is disposed of instead. 1968, construction of Raccoon City's public transit trolleys begins in Europe. And they are quickly put into use within the city. Spencer founds the pharmaceutical company Umbrella with Marcus and Edward Ashford. The company is established to mask their biological research. July, Edward Ashford contracts the progenitor virus and dies. His son Alexander Ashford succeeds him as head of the Ashford family. Then in August, the Umbrella training facility is established in the Arklay Mountains, with Marcus appointed as director. That's all in 1968. In 69 in February, Alexander Ashford begins to design a facility in Antarctica. He secretly makes plans to build an underground laboratory for the purpose of the Code Veronica project. In November, Umbrella's Antarctic base and research facilities are completed. In 1971, the Code Veronica project is successful. The twins Alfred and Alexia Ashford are born. In 1977, Albert Wesker and William Birkin joined the training facility as prospective managers. Oh, Wesker's kind of old. 1978, January, Marcus successfully develops the T virus. July, the closure of the training facility is finalized. Wesker and Birkin transfer their T-virus research to the Arklay Research Facility. Marcus continues his own research in the closed-down training facility. 1981 July, although only 10 years old, Alexia Ashford graduates at the top of her class from a prestigious university. Birkin begins to view Alexia as a rival. Alexia injects her father, Alexander, with the T. Veronica virus, but the experiment ends in failure. December of 1983, Wesker researches secondary exposure to the T virus. He begins to have reservations about Spencer's plan. Alexia injects herself with the T. Veronica virus and enters a 15-year cryogenic sleep. To maintain the secrecy of this plan, it is reported that she died of accidental exposure to the virus. 1987, Michael Warren becomes the mayor of Raccoon City. 1988, Wesker, under orders from Spencer, assassinates Marcus. Under Birkin's guidance, the T-Virus program begins development of the BOW Tyrant. Umbrella begins work on the Nemesis project at its 6th European research facility. Whoa. 1991, Umbrella begins construction of the expansive underground laboratory beneath Raccoon City. Spencer approves Birkin's G-Virus project and work begins on it. Wesker is transferred to the information department. Okay. Umbrella contributes funds to the refurbishment of City Hall and the building of the General Hospital. A statue of Michael Warren is erected in City Hall. Raccoon City Police Chief Brian Irons begins conducting negotiations with Umbrella. Birkin transfers to the underground lab in Raccoon City. Clandestine meeting with Irons begins. Alfred Ashford graduates from a university in England and becomes director of the Antarctic facility. He rises up the ranks to eventually become an executive Umbrella and then director of Rockford Island. A trading facility for anti-BOW squad member is completed. 1994, John from the Chicago lab takes over. I like this. John from the Chicago lab takes over for Birkin at the Arclight Research Facility. Alfred builds a private mansion and prison on Rockford Island. So here, 1996, Raccoon City Police Department STARS team is founded with Wesker as captain. Hunk, later of the Umbrella Special Forces, undergoes combat training at Rockford Island. 1998, May, a mysterious clone of Marcus's appears at the Umbrella training facility. There is a large-scale viral leak at the Arclight Mansion. The research lab there is destroyed. Cerebus claims its first victim, a 20-year-old woman whose body is found dismembered. June, Cerebus sightings are reported in a local Raccoon City magazine. July, 2 groups are sent to investigate the training facility. The first one is wiped out by BOWs located on the premises. There is an increase in reports of accidents and missing persons in the Arclight Mountains. The city sends the STARS Bravo team to investigate. Bravo team's helicopter experiences engine failure or engine trouble for unknown reasons and is forced to put down the Arclight Mountains. Bravo team takes the Ecliptic Express to investigate the training facility, which is later destroyed. A whole lot of things getting destroyed. Alpha team is sent out to search for the Bravo team. Communication is lost. The occurrence of the mansion incident. Bravo team leader Enrico Marini learns Wesker's true identity. Wesker murders Enrico. Ravaged by the virus, the mansion and the lab are destroyed. 4 members of Alpha Team and 1 member of Bravo Team escape the catastrophe. Survivors: Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, Barry Burton, Brad Vickers, and Rebecca Chambers. Wesker escapes the Arclight Research Facility before it is destroyed. August, former STARS member Chris Redfield learns of the G-Virus and heads to Europe to investigate Umbrella. September, the virus spreads throughout Raccoon City via infected mice. The city is declared biohazard as incidents of cannibalism continue to rise. Birkin completes work on the G-Virus. A zombie horde attacks the city's police station. The police station is destroyed and Chief Irons descends into mania. Warren escapes the city but leaves his daughter behind. UBCS, Umbrella Biohazard Countermeasure Service, arrives in the city to begin rescue operations. Well, actually, that's true. They did. Rookie police officer Leon S. Kennedy arrives in the city at the same time as Claire Redfield. Umbrella deploys the BOW Nemesis T-type into the city and it begins its hunt for the former STARS member Jill Valentine. Umbrella deploys mass-produced tyrants into the city. Leon and Claire escape the city with William and Annette Birkin's daughter Sherry. With the arrival of the U.S. military, the city is placed under martial law. UBCS survivors are exploited by Umbrella's official observer of the situation, Nikolai Jinov, or whatever, and they die off one by one. The hospital is destroyed. Ada Wong and Hunk each acquire samples of the G-Virus. The underground lab in Raccoon City is destroyed. October, the U.S. government decides to eliminate the virus threat by destroying Raccoon City with a missile strike. December, Claire infiltrates the Paris laboratory only to be captured in prison on Rockford Island. Wesker attacks the island with his own private force and releases the T-virus onto the island. Claire escapes from the prison and sends an email to Leon asking for help. Her location is made known to Chris. Jill escapes Raccoon City and goes to Chris's apartment, but he has already left for Rockford Island. Alfred Ashford escapes the island. Chris arrives at Rockford Island and finds Wesker. Alexia Ashford wakes up from her cryogenic sleep at the Antarctic base. Alfred dies shortly after. Claire and Chris are reunited at the Antarctic base, and together they defeat Alexia. They escape before the base is destroyed. Well, they didn't even talk about the one kid. Jack Krauser, this is 2002, Jack Krauser fakes his own death and joins Wesker's secret organization. Alright, that's part 4. February, Chris and Jill take part in the mission to destroy the Umbrella Caucasus research facility in Russia. They are successful to destroy a new BOW known as Talos. That would have been in the Umbrella Chronicles. 2004, the US President's daughter Ashley Graham is kidnapped by the religious group known as the Los Illuminados. The actual kidnapping was carried out by Krauser. Leon Kennedy was scheduled to join Ashley's Secret Service detail, but is ordered to find her instead. When Kennedy is injected with the Las Plagas parasite by the Los Illuminados. After that, he and Ashley, who is also infected with the same product, take shelter in a church. After escaping the village, Leon and Ashley are forced to seek refuge in an old castle. But Ashley is once again apprehended. This time she is taken to an isolated island by Krauser under the orders of Ramon Salazar, the 8th head of the Salazar family. Leon confronts Salazar and defeats him. Leon heads to the island to find Ashley, and is there he defeats both Jack Krauser and Osmond Sadler, the leader of the Los Illuminados. Called Leon and Ashley use the facility on the island to remove the parasites. Ada Wong steals the Las Plagas parasite sample from Leon. Leon and Ashley escape the island by jet ski. So, chronologically speaking, and then the events of Resident Evil happen, but the one that's missing would be the use of BOWs. The use of BOWs for Terra Grigia. And that whole event. So the BSAA. Following the annihilation of Raccoon City, Umbrella was hit hard with multiple lawsuits from their involvement in the incident. But there was an organization that was hit even harder by the fallout of that incident, the Global Pharmaceutical Consortium, an organization comprised of pharmaceutical companies from around the world. Umbrella's development of the experimentation with bioorganic weapons, BOWs, along with the sale of those weapons on the black market, caused people to distrust the Global Pharmaceutical Consortium. And the fact the Umbrella the Umbrella was an executive board. Wait, what? And the fact that Umbrella was an executive board member only to deepen their misgivings. If things had ended there, the consortium may have just escaped with a tarnished reputation. But in today's world, medicine is an integral part of almost all medical procedures. The public is also quite informed when it comes to which medications are trusted and which are not. If the population loses trust in the pharmaceutical company responsible for creating certain medications, it can quickly bankrupt that company. The Umbrella trials took a turn for the worst for the consortium when prospectors presented evidence that incriminated many other pharmaceutical companies. Prosecutors showed that Umbrella acquired medicines and technologies developed by other companies and employed them in their own bioweapons research. They commissioned each of the respective companies to only partially develop certain medications so that they could not be traced to what was ultimately being developed. The responsible companies thus unwittingly contributed to the development of bioweapons. Until this development in the case, the consortium looked at the lawsuits as Umbrella's problem. Now the problem was thrust into lapse as well. The companies that were linked to Umbrella faced the possibilities of sharing blame for the deaths of hundreds of thousands of innocent people. If Umbrella lost the lawsuits, they would face bankruptcy as well. Even if Umbrella was found not guilty of any wrongdoing, the negative publicity would not only be disastrous for sales, but the governments of the world would revoke the company's permits to sell their products. Not having permission to distribute their products worldwide would effectively dismantle their businesses. The pharmaceutical companies realized they had no choice but to take drastic measures to counter their dismal prospects. The consortium decided to strike a deal with the prosecutors. They would put all their efforts into assisting with the case against Umbrella, even to the point of turning over any internal company documentation. The prosecutors in the case, being obsessed with seeing Umbrella's fall, agreed to accept the help of the consortium's companies, and in return they would not pursue legal action against them. In 2003, Umbrella was found guilty on all charges. With its fall, the scandal that rocked the pharmaceutical industry to its core could finally be put to rest. But Umbrella's dismantlement led to an unforeseen situation. In the fallout of Umbrella's collapse, POWs began to show up on the black market. The weapons wound up in the hands of terrorists, guerrilla fighters, and unsuitable state governments. Soon, the threat of the POWs began to be felt around the world. Okay, I mean, I guess it's there. Faced with a new Umbrella-like crisis, the global pharmaceutical consortium knew they would have to take immediate action. It was then that the Bioterrorism Security Assessment Alliance, the BSAA, was formed to fight the threats from POWs. Upon its initial foundation, only 11 elite individuals were made part of the BSAA. The job was limited to that of observers to armies and police units around the world that conducted bioterrorist operations. Unfortunately, the world's bioterrorism problem was much bigger than anyone had anticipated, and so a new course of action was required to handle the problem. To that end, consideration was given to creating a team that could react instantly to threats, but the BSAA was still only a civilian-led organization. They could not operate freely in sovereign nations, and thus were unable to conduct investigations, make permanent arrests, or even use force when the situation dictated it. It was clear now that the threat of bioterrorism was now the entire world's problem, and something would have to be done. The BSA was then reformed under the UN's jurisdiction. As the UN-controlled Special Forces team, the BSAA's acceptance by the UN's member states was taken as a given. The truth of the matter was, only 70% of the member states would approve of BSAA activities on their soil, and the remainder of the states would only approve BSAA's activity in their countries on a conditional basis. That is how the current incarnation of the BSAA was formed. Well, okay, so with Resident Evil Revelations, though, you can kind of see, I could kind of see how, like, with the FSB, they were more of the forefront. Obviously, they didn't exist when RE5 came out, so, but that being said, when that rolled together, I think, once FSB fell, I mean, the BSA was there as an advisory role in terror greed, yeah. So, I mean, they did actually pay attention to that. That's kind of cool. The BSA headquarters located in England, but any further details of the location were not released to the public. Since the BSA team had to be able to deploy within 12 hours, it was assumed that they were located near an airport hub or an Air Force base. Some sources claim that the BSA had bases in the area under their jurisdiction. The following is a list of areas under the jurisdiction of the respective BSAA branches. European headquarters, Europe and Western Russia. Middle East branch, the Middle East and part of Africa. Wow, it's really specific there. North American branch, the entire North American continent. First Redfield is stationed there. South America branch, the entire South American continent. West African branch, the western part of African continent. Sheva Alomar is stationed there. East Africa branch, the eastern part of Africa continent. Far East branch, eastern Russia, and the countries east of India. Oceania branch, Australia is the center of operations for Oceania. Antarctica, Umbrella's Antarctic base was located, falls under the jurisdiction of the Oceania branch. Each BSAA branch had a considerable number of people on their tactical teams, most of them coming from police, special forces, and militaries around the world. The support staff for the teams was also quite large, and they came mainly from the government organizations in different countries. There were many groups of experts on the staff that provided technical, medical, physical, and mental support for patients. The BSA deployment teams were divided into two groups. The first group was the Special Operations Unit, the SOU. The SOU were sanctioned to infiltrate an area, engage in combat, and subdue offenders. Teams were usually comprised of 12 members, and each team was divided into 3 4-man cells. A special feature of the SOU is the flexibility of its personnel during operations. In order to match the scale of the operation, cells from other teams are brought in on a regular basis. For one specific joint operation, there were 70 elite members working together. Dan DeChant is currently the leader of the Alpha team for this operation. The team is comprised of its own standard team along with cells from other teams. The designation Alpha team will only be used for this operation. Reports indicate that because unknown BOWs are involved, the efficacy of the tactical team's methods for handling them may be low, and consideration has had to be given to the strong points that raise their efficacy. Another key part of the BSA is a Special Operations Phase, the SOA. Usually they refer to as just agents, and unlike the SOU, agents work alone. The agents are primarily involved in investigations and espionage activities, and as such they are considered the eyes and ears of the BSAA. During certain operations, it may become difficult for tactical teams to penetrate to the front, so it's up to the agents to carry out the missions. During those types of missions, a 2-man cell is the basic deployment unit required to carry out the mission. Sometimes agents must go beyond the jurisdiction of the BSA branch to carry out their missions. Many of them are dispatched to areas where unlawful activities. This mission sees Agent Chris Redfield in that role. Agents who work alone are highly capable and they rank higher than SOU members. However, agents are not chosen so much for their abilities or technical prowess, but for their psychological state and aptitude in handling a situation. In actual skills and abilities, they may be outperformed by SOU members. The BSAA is a public organization with an internal staff, but owing to the logistics of running such an organization, it is a well-known fact that most of their funding comes from the Global Pharmaceutical Consortium. While the relationship has been the target of much criticism, the consortium's funding removes the financial burden from participatory nations, and as such, any motivation to change the situation and incur unwanted expenses. As for the consortium, their sponsorship acts as much-needed industry-wide PR service. So far, this partnership has been beneficial to all parties involved. On a final note, the 11 members who are part of the BSSA from the beginning are highly respected within the organization, and are known as the Original 11. The name comes from the Original 7, who were the 7 astronauts selected for Project Mercury. One of these Original 11 is Chris Redfield, a member of other members of the Original 11 who also work inside many tactical teams. So there we have it. That was really long, but I appreciate you listening. So with that being said, let's get into it. I've also been doing a lot of farming, so I have stuff now. So I've gotten S ranks on those. I've been working on these, but let's finish up 2-3. So yeah, as you can see that we're a little bit better off than before.
I heard about Irving. Tough break.
Yes, but there will be other opportunities. Sheva to headquarters.
This is headquarters. What's your situation?
There's a high probability that Irving is on his way to an oil field in the marshlands. We're rejoining Delta Team and heading there now.
Understood.
We got company.
They don't let up, do they?
Do what you gotta do to stop them. But don't get too trigger happy or the guns will overheat. If that happens, we'll be an easy target so they cool down. We've got some sharp curves up ahead. Hold on tight.
This is Captain Stone, Delta Team. I just received word from HQ. Based on the data you uploaded from that hard drive, most of the townspeople have
What does all this have to do with Ouroboros?
You got me. They didn't see.
Looks like the only way we're getting answers is from Irving.
It's gonna get bumpy! Hang on!
Oh, I hit the wrong button.
That's gonna affect the resale value.
Yeah, I'm getting it. So many motorcycles.
Got some sharp curves up ahead! Hold on tight!
We're under attack! There are too many of them to handle. Reinforcements are en route. Hold your position until they arrive. Repeat, hold your position.
Pick up the pace!
I can't. How am I supposed to shoot that?
Enough with the warning shots! Take them out for God's sake!
Oh man, my vehicle is heart's pounding.
There's no getting past that truck unless you two do something about it!
We died. Oh no, we
Nice.
didn't. Should have.
He's trying to ram us into the river! Do something!
I would love to.
What could have done this? Where are you, Josh?
Sheva, you don't have to do this. You can still back out.
What about you?
I've got a personal stake in this.
A personal stake? Chris, look around. We should both get the hell out of here.
I'm not here just for the mission.
What are you talking about?
A while back, I received some intel that my old partner was still alive. At first, I didn't know what to think. But when I saw the data file from Delta Team, I knew for sure. Jill is still alive.
That woman in the data file? Are you even sure it's the same person?
We were partners. I'm sure.
Wait! Wait! You're not going alone. Chris, wait!
I don't have much time. I have to find her.
I'm going with you. These are my people that are dying here.
Are you sure about this? A second ago, you were ready to cut and run.
I can't just turn my back and walk away.
There are no more orders from here on in. It's just us.
We're partners. To the end. Now let's get moving.
Yeah, I was gonna say my accuracy was garbage. Ah, you could view the Mangini file in the library. The Mangini. Alright. Well, this is an odd episode. I knew it was gonna be quick. That's like I want to do the reading portion, get it out of the way. Because the next part's gonna be a lot longer. So, yeah. So, I mean, like I said, I wanted to I'd probably just keep it depending. Well, whatever. Anyways, I am going to end the episode here because I am still sick, so... but anyhow, hope you enjoyed the history lesson. And other than that, friends, stay healthy, unlike me. Stay safe, stay true to yourselves, follow your hearts, and I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, friends, bye-bye.